My husband has 3 girlfriends, and I did something crazy. They say women have instincts, but sometimes instincts feel like punishment. That evening, I was folding clothes on the bed, humming softly, when my husband's phone beeped. My eyes narrowed as if something unusual had just happened. Normally, I never check his phone. I trusted him. But that night, something in me whispered, "Jenny, just check." And I did. And my hands trembled as I picked up the phone. I hesitated, swallowed hard, then opened the message. Just one line. But that one line shattered me. "Baby, thanks for last night. Can't wait for round 2. Anita." When I saw the message from Anita, I gasped so loudly the phone almost slipped from my fingers. Covering my mouth with both hands, I staggered back from the bed. Tears stung my eyes instantly, blurring the screen in front of me. Sobbing. Before I continue, please take some moments and tell us in the comments where you're watching from, and subscribe to enable this video reach more audience. Thanks for supporting us.
At first, I told myself maybe it was a mistake. Maybe Anita is just a friend who jokes too much. But curiosity is a dangerous friend. I clicked more chats, and that's when my heart stopped beating properly. I shook my head violently, pressing my palms against my temples as if I could block out the sight. There wasn't just Anita. There was also Sandra and Grace. 3 women. 3! Each with her own folder of pictures, sweet chats, voice notes, even money transfers. My husband, the same man who once knelt in the rain to propose to me, promising I was his only one, was now sharing his heart and body with 3 other women. I sank slowly to the floor, clutching the phone tightly to my chest. My body rocked back and forth like a child. Tears streamed down my face as I whispered hoarsely, "Why me? Why me?" My eyes lifted toward our wedding picture on the wall. There I was in my white gown, smiling like the happiest bride alive. And there he was, holding me close, promising forever. But forever had been broken into 3 pieces. I let out a bitter laugh through my tears, the kind of laugh that cuts your chest open, then buried my face in my palms. I sobbed uncontrollably, realizing in that moment that my marriage was no longer what I thought it was. The morning after I discovered the truth, I looked at my husband differently. He came into the kitchen, stretching, yawning, acting like the perfect husband. "Good morning, Jenny," he said, planting a kiss on my forehead as if nothing in this world was wrong. I froze. My hands were deep in the sink, scrubbing a plate that had already been clean for the past 5 minutes. I couldn't look at him. My throat tightened so badly I could barely reply. How could he stand there smiling when I had read those words from Anita, Sandra, and Grace? I wanted to scream. I wanted to slap him and ask why. But instead, I stood there, forcing myself to smile faintly, even though inside me a storm was raging. All through breakfast, I stared at him secretly. Every laugh of his felt fake to me. Every "Jenny, pass the salt" cut through me like a knife. I wanted to pour the salt into his wounds instead. When he picked up his phone and chuckled softly at a message, my heart nearly burst from my chest. Was it Anita again? Was it Sandra? Or was it Grace this time? I clenched my fists under the table so hard, my nails dug into my palms. Later that day, when he left for work, I sat on the couch and cried like a widow. It felt like the man I loved had died, and a stranger was living in his body. But I also knew one thing. I couldn't just accuse him yet. If I did, he'd deny it. Men always deny. I needed proof. More proof. So, for the first time in my marriage, I decided to play detective. That night, when he fell asleep snoring peacefully beside me, I turned slowly, my heart racing. I slid his phone from his hand with the carefulness of a thief. My fingers shook as I unlocked it. And there it was. Messages, calls, voice notes, pictures. One from Anita. Good night, my ting. Dream of me. One from Sandra. Don't forget tomorrow. I bought a new dress just for you. One from Grace. You drive me crazy. Can't stop thinking about you. I dropped the phone quickly on the bed, pressing both hands over my chest. My breathing was so heavy I thought it would wake him up. Tears rolled down the sides of my face, soaking my pillow. I turned away from him, staring into the darkness of the room, and whispered to myself, "This man is killing me slowly, and he doesn't even know it." That night, I realized I was no longer just Jenny, his wife. I had become Jenny, the silent witness to my own heartbreak.
The next morning, I woke up feeling like my chest was full of rocks. My husband stretched beside me, yawning and smiling, as if the world was perfect. I stared at him, wondering if he could hear my thoughts screaming, "Liar, cheater, stranger." He said, "Jenny, what are we having for breakfast today?" His voice was calm, ordinary, but to me, it felt like knives. I forced a smile and replied softly, "Anything you want." Inside, I was boiling. My heart was racing. I wanted to shout, "How dare you sit here and pretend when you have 3 women outside calling you their king?" But I kept quiet. Silence became my new weapon. When he left for work that day, I sat at the dining table for hours. My tears fell freely. I imagined him laughing with Grace, holding Anita's hands, whispering to Sandra. Every image broke me into smaller pieces. By afternoon, I couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed my wrapper, tied it around my waist, and walked straight to his office. I didn't enter. No. I stood across the street, watching. And then I saw her. A tall woman, slim, with a bright red dress that clung to her body like it was her skin. She leaned against his car, smiling, holding her phone. When my husband came out of the office, the way his face lit up, it wasn't for me. It had never been for me in a long while. He touched her shoulder, whispered something, and she laughed, tossing her hair back. My knees went weak. My chest squeezed so hard, I thought I would collapse right there on the pavement. I turned quickly before anyone could notice me. I walked back home with my legs shaking like a drunk woman. I wanted to scream in the middle of the road. I wanted to run into traffic, but I held it in, pressing my scarf to my lips so no one would hear me sobbing. That night, when he returned home, he kissed me lightly and said, "Work was stressful today." I looked straight into his eyes, searching for guilt, for shame, for anything that would show he knew what he was doing to me. But there was nothing. Just a calm face and a light too deep to touch. I smiled faintly, nodded, and said, "I see." But deep inside, I was drowning. I realized then that keeping quiet would destroy me faster than his cheating ever could. And so, I made a decision. I would no longer just sit and cry. I was going to find the strength to confront him. But how? And when? Those questions kept me awake all night. For days, I walked around my home like a ghost. My smile was painted on. My laughter was hollow. But inside, my heart was a battlefield. Every second, I wrestled with questions that had no answers. Why me? Why us?
Wasn't I enough? One evening, I was in the kitchen stirring soup when his phone, left carelessly on the counter, buzzed. The screen lit up. My hands froze. My eyes landed on the name flashing across the screen. Sandra. My breath caught in my throat. I didn't mean to, but my hands shook as I picked it up. And there it was. Message after message. Words of love. Promises of forever. Plans to meet at a hotel that night. My vision blurred with tears as I read the words. I can't wait to see you, baby. I'll make tonight unforgettable. My knees buckled. I gripped the counter so hard my nails dug into the wood. My chest heaved. I wanted to scream, to break everything in the kitchen, to march into the living room and throw the phone in his face. But instead, I placed it back exactly where it was. When he walked in, whistling casually, asking if the food was ready, I looked at him with fire burning behind my calm face. I answered, "Almost ready." He had no idea that I was breaking apart inside. That night, I didn't sleep. I lay beside him, staring into the darkness, listening to his breathing. My mind raced. The betrayal was too loud, too heavy. My chest burned with rage and sorrow. The next morning, as he prepared for work, I told him quietly, "Don't forget to drive safe." My voice was steady, but my heart was screaming, because I knew exactly where he was going after work. I had made up my mind. I would follow him. I would see with my own eyes. No more guessing. No more tears in secret. Tonight the truth would stand naked before me, and nothing in this world could prepare him for what was coming. But as I sat in the bedroom after he left, a thought gnawed at me like a sharp knife. What if I see more than I can handle? The weight of that question pressed on me all day. By evening, as the sun set over Lagos and the street lights began to glow, I tied my scarf, slipped on my flats, and followed his car quietly from a distance. My hands were sweating on the steering wheel, my heart thundering in my chest. He didn't know. He had no clue that his wife, broken, trembling but determined, was on his trail. And then I saw it. His car pulled up outside a hotel. A woman in a glittering dress stepped out of a taxi and ran straight into his arms. They kissed. My whole world stopped. The air left my lungs. The ground beneath me felt like it was splitting open. And right there, parked in the shadows, my hands gripping the wheel so hard my fingers went numb, I whispered to myself, "This is the end. Tomorrow I will break his world the way he has broken mine." I barely slept that night. My body was on the bed, but my spirit was elsewhere. Every time I closed my eyes, all I saw was him holding her, kissing her like I didn't exist, like our vows meant nothing. By morning, my heart was no longer just broken. It was a storm ready to burst. He came home whistling, pretending to be tired from work. He greeted me with that fake smile, and for the first time in years, I didn't answer. I simply sat at the dining room table, staring at him. "Jenny, what is it?" he asked, laughing uneasily. My voice trembled at first, but then it grew sharper, louder, unstoppable. Do you think I am blind? Do you think I am a fool?" He froze. The laughter died on his lips. I slammed my palm on the table so hard the plates rattled. I followed you last night. I saw you with Sandra. I saw everything with my own eyes. The silence that filled the room was deafening. He opened his mouth, but no words came. His face turned pale. Tears streamed down my cheeks as I spoke, my voice cracking with pain. I gave you my youth. I gave you my loyalty. I carried your children, cleaned this house, stood by you when you had nothing. And this is how you repay me? He dropped to his knees, stammering, "Jenny, please, I can explain. It was a mistake. I didn't mean—" I cut him off with a bitter laugh. A mistake? 3 girlfriends? Was that also a mistake? Tell me, when you touched them, did you forget you had a wife? When you told them sweet words, did you forget your vows? I was shaking, my chest rising and falling like a drumbeat of war. For a moment, I thought I would break completely. Then something strange happened. In the middle of my pain, as he sobbed at my feet, I suddenly saw the man I married. Not the liar he had become, but the boy who once held my hand in the rain, promising he would never let go. And in that moment, I realized something. I could destroy him with my words. I could end this marriage with one decision. I could pack my bags and leave. But instead, I chose something harder. I whispered through my tears, I will not leave. But know this, you have broken me, and only God can heal what you have done. If you ever touch another woman again, may my tears haunt you for the rest of your life. His shoulders shook as he wept uncontrollably, clutching my knees like a child begging for forgiveness. For the first time in years, I saw real fear in his eyes. Fear of losing me, fear of himself. And as I stood there, wiping my tears with trembling hands, I knew one thing. Forgiveness wasn't weakness. Forgiveness was the knife that cut deeper than revenge. Because while his cheating may not end our marriage, the image of my suffering, the memory of my tears, would forever burn inside him until he became a better man. If you were touched by my story, ask yourself this: how much can one heart endure before it breaks? Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you think forgiveness was the right choice, or should she have walked away? Don't forget to subscribe for more powerful and emotional stories. Until next time, remember, sometimes the deepest scars are the ones no one can see.